Good morning and thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup with me, Niraj Shah. The global news flow is mixed or sedate, if you will. S&P 500 futures are little changed after 3 straight days of losses for the US markets. Yields have moved up even more. The 10-year Treasury yield has briefly topped the 4.25% mark, highest level since late July. Crude prices have fallen a little bit on the higher US crude stocks, even as the world watches the Middle Eastern peace with greater interest. Now, this is what the US markets did. Like I said, 3 straight days of a fall, and the futures currently are not looking all that pleasant. So just about flattish, if you will. This is Asia. China is down. Nikkei is mixed. In fact, the others, ASX, Straits Times, Kospi, etc., too, kind of hovering around flattish levels. I doubt that we will be materially different. Maybe a bit of an upside, yep, 57 odd points, but let's see. We've known what's happened yesterday, right? I mean, with the upsides getting sold into. In fact, that's the lead part of my trade setup today. That the drift down, the drift down from the intraday highs was certainly very disappointing when it comes to the Nifty 50. One would have hoped that the highs of the bounce would have stayed. Didn't happen. Though the heartening part is that the SMIDs, which is the mid caps and the small caps, there the upticks kind of stayed true. Mid-cap index about 0.64%, small caps even more, about over 1%. So therefore, that is maybe a bit of a heartening part. And like I've been saying for the last 2 days, that quant indicators are pointing to a strong bounce back in large, or the strong possibility of a bounce back in large caps. Now, whether the bounce back really lasts or no remains to be seen. But there is a very strong possibility of a bounce back in large caps. So bear that in mind. Leverage shorts on the index might not be a great idea. It's a big day for results yet again. Yesterday we were talking about so many. Some of them have disappointed, by the way. But from a consumption perspective, you'll watch out for Godrej Consumer and Bikaji Foods. And let's see if they kind of do an encore with what some of the others have done. The Adani Group, Adani Total Gas, Adani Wilmar and ACC come out with numbers. Dixon expected to post a strong set of numbers. So I'll watch out for that. And ITC, of course, from consumption. And a big day for pharma, too, because there is Laurus Labs coming out with numbers. There is JSW in energy from the powers perspective as well. So a clutch of very important names that you want to watch out for in the session today. Now, what about stocks to watch? By the way, the IPO subscriptions are good. Just keep that in mind. Both Worry as well as Deepak Construction or Deepak Engineers have gone very good subscriptions, 71 and 40 times respectively. So that's actually good. Okay, numbers to watch out for. AU Small Finance Bank, NII up 58%. So strong performance on the NII front. Gross NPAs inched up quarter on quarter, but the bottom line number at 571 crores was ahead of the estimates of 496 crores. And therefore, watch out. I won't be surprised if there's a bit of a positive reaction. In fact, Morgan Stanley's target is 780, which is about a 20% upside. They say that this is better placed than some of the other mid-sized private sector banks. So watch out for AU Small Finance Bank. Could be a stock to reckon. Piramal Pharma, again, decent numbers. Revenues up 17% at 2242 crores. That did okay. Margins at 15.2 versus 13.9. And net profit up 4.6 times at 23 crores versus 5 crores. I thought on all counts, it did reasonably well. Maybe a stock that reacts positively. Wait and watch. Care Ratings is the other one. Total income rose about 42% and net profit at 46.9 versus 21.4. So again, a stock that could actually have a bit of a positive reaction in the session today. Let's wait and watch if this one does that. HUL was a mixed number. I'm standing on the shoulders of a brokerage note to tell you what happened. So Jefferies says that it's, by the way, they have a buy rating with a target price of 3130. So that's the first line. Now the numbers. They say it's an inline Q2 and the demand pressures are visible for HUL. They say rural continued to recover while urban has started to moderate, unfortunately. And the current demand trends are likely to continue in the near term. Unfortunately for HUL, according to Jefferies and multiple other brokerages, a pickup in growth is a must for share price performance. So reckon that the big boy might stay quiet, as has most of the other FMCG pack. Maybe a bit of a downward tick as well. Who knows? Where I'm a bit confused. So Karnataka Bank, NII up 1% at 834 crores. Gross NPAs, in fact, came off a little bit quarter on quarter, 3.21 versus 3.54. And as a result of which the bottom line performance ahead of what the estimates were, 336 crores, the estimates were 299 crores. So in some sense, they've done better than what the street was working with. Will this revive the stock or no? Difficult to say. Similarly for Johnson Controls Hitachi, I'm a bit unsure. Revenues are up 41%, which is very strong. But there was a loss, EBITDA and PAT, but the loss is narrowed. So EBITDA loss at 8 crore, the loss was 37 crores, net loss at 30 crores, the loss was 56 crores. So in some sense, they've done better than what the street was working with. I remember the last quarter, if I'm not wrong. No, let's stick with Johnson Controls, please. The last quarter, Johnson Controls stock had risen quite dramatically on an event, I think the results, and therefore it will be interesting to see if this quarter the street rewards this performance or punishes it. Because it's a loss, it's disappointing, but because the loss has been narrowed and the revenue number is strong, maybe this does well. VIP is the other one, which is probably a case for a slam dunk. Revenues were flattish, 544 crores, lower than estimates. EBITDA loss at 2 crores, the estimates was 34 crores. Profit net loss at 33 crores, the estimate was a loss of just 1 crore. Now the problem with VIP is this, viewers. Look at some of the observations that I made. Top line growth, let's stick with this. Top line growth is lower than June 2022 quarter. For the last 8 quarters, the top line has grown nowhere. So there is no growth per se. The bottom line for VIP has been mixed since March 2023 quarter, from a loss to a profit to a loss to a profit. It's not quite consistent on the bottom line performance. And because there is a trailing 12 months is a bit of a loss, the negative TTM PAT, I'm forced to look at the FY24 bottom line number. And the stock is trading at 133 times for a stock which is not growing. I'll be really surprised if the stock doesn't get punished, but it's a very difficult stock to trade, so bear that in mind. Birlasoft had a bit of a weak quarter too. Revenues were up 3%, which is okay in line, but EBIT margin lower, 265 basis points at 10.45. The estimate was 12.7. Net profit was down 14.66% at 128 crores. The estimate was 146 crores. Another candidate for a bit of a pullback. Sagar Cements and Nuvoco are the other two which will probably have a weak day. Sagar Cements revenues were down 19%, margins 4.2 versus 10.3, net loss of 56 crores versus a loss of 10.85 crores. Suffice to say, disappointing quarter, may react negatively. Nuvoco Vistas, revenues were down 11.8%, margin at 9.6 versus 12.8, net loss at 85 crores versus a profit of 1.53 crores. Suffice to say, may react negatively. Zomato has increased the platform fee for a temporary period for select cities, but this may spur profitability for Zomato. So do watch out for this one. May have a positive day today. Brokers are very, very constructive on Coforge. Morgan Stanley's overweight, target price of 8,800. They say companies getting into a potential revenue beat and raise cycle. So this is interesting. Nirmal Bang has a buy, target price of 8,896. Stellar Q2, etc. Motilal Oswal buy, target price of 10,000. They say the rebound in BFS client spending bodes well for the organic business. HSBC too has a buy. The only one who is negative is Citi. They have a sell. The target price, though, they too have raised the target price to 6,720. They revised the EPS by 4 to 5% and raised the multiple to 38 times. There's also Sona Comstar, which has made a very large acquisition of the powertrain business. So that could be interesting to monitor. So do watch out for that as well. But in all, I think the results today have a lot more to say than the results that have come out overnight. A bit of a mixed day really when it comes to that. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup.